Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I would like to welcome you each into our kitchen on this beautiful day where we're going to get busy making some homemade yeast dinner rolls. Yes, I know a lot of people have trouble making yeast rolls. They either turn out too hard or they don't rise, or a lot of different things. One of the main reasons is too much flour being used. Second one is over kneading the dough. And when you're making especially dinner yeast rolls, you want a good fat-filled dough because that's what makes it light and fluffy, and you don't want to use much flour. So, with that being said, I hope this video encourages you to let's get busy making some dinner rolls. Of course, Thanksgiving is upon us, and I usually start prepping several days before. Now, like I said, full fat. This is whole milk. You want to use whole milk. And to that, I have a tablespoon of cane sugar. Don't use artificial anything. Your yeast needs the sugar to feed on. Now, you want to make sure that your milk is no higher than 110 degrees. You want it warm. Any warmer and it can kill your yeast. And the reason why one of the reasons I proof separately from the flour is because I want to make sure that the yeast is still alive. I usually don't have any worry whatsoever with this yeast, and you want a tablespoon and a half. This one's a little heavier with the yeast. Now you can use bread flour. I just use plain old all-purpose flour. Do not use self-rising, not whatsoever. You want either plain bread flour or plain all-purpose, and I always just use all-purpose. Once in a blue moon, I'll use bread flour, but not very often. Alright, make sure your yeast is mixed in very well. And I'm going to let this proof for 5 minutes. And I'll bring y'all back as soon as the yeast is proofed. See you here in a bit. Okay, the yeast has proofed beautifully. You want to see that active yeast going happy and healthy. If it does not activate, means you need to get some new yeast, or you're not going to be making rolls, yeast rolls. Now, in this bowl, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I have stirred into it 1 teaspoon of salt, and if you can see, I have a 1/4 cup of butter cut into small slices, and they're very soft room temperature butter. I'm going to put my yeast in. And you always want to make sure that salt is mixed well into your flour, because a lot of people don't tell you salt will kill yeast. You have to be very careful. And I'm going to need 1 large egg beaten. And like I said, save your eggs. And you want it room temperature. You don't want to add anything cold to your dough because it can kill the yeast. And of course you can do this in a stand mixer if you have one. I don't. And you know what? It's still going to work out just fine. Now I have a small 1/2 cup of flour. I want to try my best to use the least amount of that. If possible. I want to try my best not to have to use any. I might. You never know. Now this is going to be enough dinner rolls to make a 13, where is it, 13 by 9 or something like that pan. If you want to, you can double and triple it. It will work. Want to make sure you get all your dough. Now you wouldn't be doing this process here if you have a stand mixer with a dough hook. Okay. Now we're going to start the fun of kneading. You want it to be a little tacky, but not stick to you. If you find that it's sticking to your fingers more than you want it to, dust your hands with flour. Don't worry, it don't look good in the beginning, but by the time you get done, it will come together. I knew it was something I forgot. Hold on a minute. If you don't have a dough scraper, you can use a metal spatula. I'm going to dust it just a little bit, not much. Like I said, the goal is to use the least amount of flour, extra flour as possible. But you don't want it so sticky that it's sticking to your kneading surface. You want it to feel a little tacky, but not to where it's just sticking to everything. And I'm going to continue to knead this for 10 minutes. Well, I've already kneaded it for about 2, so I'm going to knead it for 8 more minutes. I'll see you back here when I'm done. Okay, I stopped long enough to oil my bowl, clean it out a little bit, oil my bowl. But you want your dough not to be sticky, but a little tacky. You can tell that it's good and moist. It's beautiful, y'all. This dough has turned out really good. Look at that beautiful, beautiful elastic. And so you push in and it pops back up. You put your dough in your bowl. And as you see, I did not use much of any flour out of the measuring cup. The least amount of flour added, the better. Now, you're going to cover this up with either a towel or saran wrap. You want to put this in a warm place where it can rise and double in size is what you're looking for. An hour to 2 hours. Once it's risen, I will bring you back when it's almost to the point of being done, rising for the first time. Go ahead, get your 13 by 9 casserole dish, get it good and buttered, and have it ready, because when I wouldn't do it until it was almost time for the double of the rise, and then that way everything will be ready to roll, pun intended. So I'll see y'all back when this has doubled in size. Okay, welcome back everyone. It's been about an hour, and look, beautiful. That's what you want to see. Beautiful dough. What you're going to do is punch it down, and it's going to be tacky, but that's okay. It's going to be just fine. Set the bowl aside. Oh, that's so soft. And I want 3 rows of rolls. I'm going to try to shoot for 5 rows. If I can get away with it, 6 rows. And you want to try to get them all the same size. Don't worry, they look a little small. They're going for a second. They're going to go for a second rise. But you want to try to get them basically the same size so they all rise and bake together at the same time. 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. We're going to get 15. So that means I'm going to have 5 rows of rolls. Now, you want to shape them. Pull them and tuck it under. Sorry, I'm just so used to doing it. It's firsthand. Now, like I said, don't worry. They're gonna rise again. And you want to pull them over if you want a nice, smooth, if possible, top. If they're not perfect, don't worry about it. That's the beauty of homemade. Alright, I'm going to keep making my rolls, and I'll bring y'all right back. Alright, working on my last one. Now, you see how soft and flexible Soft and pillowy the dough is. This is what you're looking for. That way, when you see that, you know your rolls are going to be very soft. Okay, now I ended up with 15 rolls. That's plenty for me and Junior. I was hoping for another roll, but I didn't want to make them any smaller. Now you're going to take the same towel or new piece of saran wrap, cover it up because you don't want air to hit them and make a hard crust. Because if that air hits them and they get that hard crust, it slows down them being able to rise even better. Now, we're going to let this rise for at least another hour or two, depends on how warm your home is. That needs a nice warm spot to rise. Now, when they are about 3/4 of the way done rising, because you want them double in size, when they get almost to 3/4 of being doubled, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Make sure that your oven shelf or oven rack is halfway or just a mark below halfway. And I'll bring you back as soon as these have risen. See you here in a bit. Okay, the rolls have risen very nicely. I am just going to kiss them with a little bit of melted butter. You could add garlic if you wanted to. You don't want to push on them much at all. If you have a pastry brush, of course, you can use that. You want to be as gentle as possible because you do not want to deflate your rolls. Now, if you don't want to make your rolls like this and you want them to look a little more fancy, you can also do them in muffin tins. If you want to do the clover leaf rolls, you can. I got a butter. If you want to do the clover leaf rolls, which is the 3 top rolls, you take your dough. You'll do 3 little balls per muffin tin, and then let them rise that way. Or you can do them this way. Either way, they're going to turn out great. And my oven is preheated at 350. I think I'm going to sprinkle some garlic on it. Hold on just a minute. I know Junior would appreciate that. Now you don't have to add the garlic. That's optional. Oh, these are going to smell good. Okay, like I said, garlic is optional. Going to bake it in a 350-degree oven where the oven shelf is in the middle. You want to bake them for 20 to 25 minutes until they're done. Now, if you notice they're starting to get a little more brown than you want, and it's before they're done, you can take a piece of aluminum foil and put over the top, and that'll keep your tops from continuing to brown, and that way your bottoms and your sides will get cooked. So I will see you back here as soon as they are baked, about 25 minutes, and you'll have your yeast rolls. The rolls are done. The house smells amazing. You can see they're beautiful golden brown on the sides and golden brown on the bottom. That's what you want to see. You want to see them done. And, that's hot. Look at that beautiful roll. Ooh. Sorry, y'all. They're just out of the oven. They're hot. But look at that. You want to see the fluffy air bubbles inside. They are perfectly done. And I'm telling you, they smell amazing. Now, if you want to make them sweet, after they come out of the oven, uh, have you some melted butter, mix it half and half with honey, and you can drizzle, or if you got have a pastry brush, brush it over the tops. Now, these, like they are, have a set out life of 5 days. After about, I'd say 3 days, refrigerate them or freeze them. And now hopefully it's cool enough. Mmm. Oh, those are good. Light and fluffy. Have that light crust on the top. And of course, butter, y'all. Serve them with butter. Now, when you go to serve them, you can preheat them for a little bit, but you don't want them to dry out. And once these cool down, you can store them in like gallon Ziploc bags or big containers that have lids. And like I said, you can double and triple this recipe. Absolutely delicious. Well, hold on. But look at that. Light and fluffy. They spring back. Oh, those are good, y'all. Simple, easy, homemade. You just have to know the tricks of making good yeast dinner rolls. Don't overwork the dough and don't add any other flour if you can help it. If you do have to, very lightly add flour. But it has pretty much all the flour it needs in the recipe, which recipes in the description box. I hope this encourages you to also make your homemade rolls for Thanksgiving coming up or any other dinner throughout the year. Make rolls year round, y'all, not just in the winter time. I look forward to seeing y'all in my next video. Continue to stock your pantries with foods that will nourish and sustain you. And baking supplies, y'all, baking supplies. Medicinals that will heal you, protection of all kinds, and above all else, the bare essentials to survive on. I hope this video encourages you to make rolls. These, thank gracious, are now knocked out of the way. They'll be perfectly fine come Thanksgiving Day as long as I can keep Junior out of them. And me. Everyone, take care. May you each be safe, sound, and warm in this cold weather. May you each be blessed. Hoot, hoot. Love y'all. See you soon.